got it?
Yep.
Sure?
Yep.
Dang! You're yoked, bro.
It looks so much higher up. At first I thought it was gonna be short.
I know, I can't remember our last house of how high it was. It's probably about right.
Yeah.
What do we keep up there? The ice cream maker for homemade ice cream. I like to keep that right on the counter and make homemade ice cream every day.
You make it or do I make it?
We make homemade ice cream. Good morning. We're working on that. So I got the first couple cabinets moved out of the way. Got my laser here so we can get it set up. That's gonna be the easiest way to do it. I did take the drawers out of the cabinets so they're a little bit easier to move around by myself. So first things first, I'm gonna, on the wall, in like 3 or 4 different spots probably, I'm gonna mark 34.5 inches, which is the height of the cabinets. And then I'll set my laser to those marks. So it'll be a nice straight line. The laser will just sit here, and then we can take the cabinets and we'll shim them up and down as needed to get them to the right height. So I'm gonna work on that wall first, and then we'll come over and do this wall. So they don't have to be perfect, like that side and this side, because they're not gonna touch. And then the island as well. So they don't all have to be, like if one was 34.5 and one was 34.25, you're probably not gonna notice that 1/4 inch difference, being that nothing touches. And even over here, well, really everywhere, because there's only 3 cabinets there, 2 cabinets there, 2 there, and 1 here. So if they're slightly off, I don't think you're gonna notice once we get the countertops, because there's spaces in between. But I'm gonna try to get them perfect. But nothing's been perfect so far, so I'm gonna get them as close as I can. So I'm gonna get my tools. I need a couple drills. We're gonna pre-drill all the holes, and then the screws, and then we'll set this laser and we'll toss these cabinets in. Okay, so I got the laser set up. You can see here, right there, there's a mark, and so the mark's just above my finger. The line is off, so I measured 34.5 inches in 4 different spots all the way across, and 34.5 is a lot lower over there than the laser than it is over here. But you see here how the laser is right at the top of this cabinet, which is where I want it. I could come down, no, yeah, maybe I could come down a smidge. But that just means our concrete is not level, which it's normal. So this is gonna be our highest cabinet on this side, and then they progressively, or this is the highest, the concrete's highest over here, and then it's lower over there. So I wanna start, set my line off of the highest cabinet. I hope that makes sense. Maybe I'm not explaining it correctly, but hopefully it makes sense. Basically what I'm saying is if I set the line on top of the cabinet over here, I can't go any lower over there. So I need to start on that side for my line to make it all the way across. So I'm gonna lower that one just a smidge because I don't have to shim that on the back. And then we'll be ready to start fastening down the cabinets. All right, so you guys are gonna have to watch for me. We're gonna go down, which hopefully I can go down far enough. Oh yeah, that's perfect, because you see these little spikes on the cabinet. See? Oh, I get my hand, lift that hand out. So it's green there, and if I do that, there's less green. So that's perfect right there. Now we just can't move it. All right, so we got our plans here. They're not really plans. We sent our measurements to the cabinet company, and they drew it up and basically gave us layout plans. So that's what we're going off of. This first cabinet is supposed to be 54 7/16 off the outside of this wall We're gonna make it 54.5 because I'm not gonna mess with a 1/16 of an inch. That's kind of crazy. So 54.5. And that's where the edge of our cabinet will be. So I'm just gonna take my level and mark a couple spots down when it's perfect. This is gonna get covered too, so we got our mark there. So really with these ones, the only thing that matters is our opening for our stove, because that, can't make that any bigger. So our stud is right here. So I'll need to know where the studs are. Okay, let me move you guys closer. All right, so we're a little bit low here, and I can kind of measure. It's about a shim's width low. But I'd like a little bit bigger shim. Yeah, that's about perfect. So all I'm gonna do is pick this up, slide a shim underneath the back. Do it on the other side. Now we can look. So the side's slightly high. So you can see right here, the line is more on the cabinet. Over here is like perfect. Actually right here is perfect. So this side can come up a touch, this side can come down a touch. Okay, so this here is perfect. So what I'm gonna do is our stud is right here off this outlet. I got this drill bit with a countersink bit in it. I'm gonna pre-drill everything. Whoops. I'll have to fix that because it came out of my countersink bit. And then what I'm using is these, what are they? 2 3/4 inch GRK cabinet screws. So I got that little head on them, which is why I'm gonna countersink them. Although on the back it won't matter. You're never gonna see them. All right, so I totally messed up when we put our blocking in. I was talking about hitting a stud, and then I remembered we put blocking, so we don't even need to find the studs to fasten these. But I'm pretty sure I started our blocking at 34 inches, and then went up, and I should have done 34 inches and gone down because the top of our cabinets are 34.5. So I'm gonna have to put them at the very top. And then I'll hit the studs if I can, but It'll be okay. This one's solid in here, so I'm not too worried about it. And I'm gonna have to go back in the video and see. I don't remember if I put any lower than 34.5 or not. No, I put some on the bottom, I'm pretty sure. So we can fasten in on the bottom. Hi, Bo. Installing cabinets. You gonna help?
Yeah.
Okay.
I came in.
You did come in.
I can see you.
Yeah. I was talking to the camera.
Yeah.
Want to fasten this in the rest of the way?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, next up we got a 3-drawer cabinet. Glad I took the drawers out, because this sucker is heavy. So, for this one, what we can do is clamp them together to make sure that they're good.
Papa, I came in to see you.
You did?
Papa. That's it. There's somewhere.
That's perfect. Already. I need to get clamps. Alright, so I got some F-style clamps here. They look like an F, that's why they're called that. If you didn't know. And that's gonna hold these together for me. So I'm just making sure this is nice and flush. My line here is perfect all the way across. And I'm going to attempt on as many of these as I can to fasten on the drawer side, because you're going to be less likely to see that than you would on the door side. Okie dokie. Alright, last one on this side is a single. So we had these, I think when we did the last video we showed these, the floor video. We had these the other way around, but when my mother-in-law was here, she said, you gotta think about how you wanna open these. And if it opens this way, it might hit the handle on the stove. So we switched them around. And I think it's going to be better. One of these for sure is I'm gonna end up fabbing a drawer for it, for like utensils and stuff, but for now, it won't be like that. Alright, so the first little issue we're running into here is I can't get this top perfect. It probably looks a lot worse on camera because it's so close up than it actually is. If it's a 1/16 of an inch, I'd be surprised. It's really not that thick there. But this didn't get pressed in all the way when they were getting built. So that's a problem. And it's glued, so I loosened up the brackets and stuff trying to get it in there, and I can't. I'm gonna try a couple clamps to pull it, but it might just have to live that way. It is up top. And then even right down here, it's pretty flush. So you might not notice. I'll see what I can do to get it close, but try some clamps first. Okay, so as soon as I shut the camera off, I pushed on this and got the glue to snap. So I don't think it snapped all the way down. I think it just snapped right here. So I'm gonna try something. I got an idea. I'm gonna take this angled corner piece from the sink cabinet, being that it was not installed yet. It probably won't be installed, but I'm gonna hold that on here. And that's basically just gonna hold this piece. Or not. Basically, you just need it to hold it so that I can put this clamp here. Ay. That's how today's gonna go. All right, take two. So now with this here, it's gonna pull that tight right where I need it. And that gap is now perfect. I would have liked to have gone from this side to push the cabinet this way instead of trying to pull it with the screw, just because I'm afraid if I keep on that screw too much, it's gonna twist out of the hole and I'll be screwed. So I'll take that. I'm happy with that. Now I'll put one more in the bottom and that's nice and flush there. All right, so we're on to the other side now. So our range is 48 inches. So the space that it needs is 48 inches, I should say. So my thoughts are, I'm going to put this at 48 1/4, and that will give my countertop guys a 1/4 inch to overhang. What'll give us a 48-inch opening, because the actual range is 47 7/8. So they say the opening needs to be 48 even. That's my thoughts, but I might change here and just do a flush. I just need to see how it's gonna do, because if I do 48 1/4, between here and the range it'll leave 1/8 of an inch on both sides, which to me, I doubt the range will get hot, being that it's a residential range. But it's possible. So that's 48 1/4 right there. So I need to jack up the back, then the front, I'll check it again. We'll attach the back with a single screw. Then I'll set this cabinet, and then we can make sure. I'll set this cabinet against the wall and face frame with this, and then I can make sure that this is good. So I'll do that. All right, she's on. You can see we're nice and level all the way across. So it ended up being 48 inches even. So instead of moving it around, I guess just putting that one screw in, it kind of got cockeyed a little bit. So that's how I was measuring 48 1/4, but when I put the other one on and they're nice and straight, it's 48. So I'm okay with that. That's what we need. We need 48 inches. That's what we got, is 48 inches. So fingers crossed that everything is good. Otherwise, it could be bad. But the thing is if it were a little tight, it's not a huge deal as long as we have 48 inches for the countertops, because this little piece right here, I could just shave this down with a planer or with a sander to get myself a 1/16 of an inch. It's not, like I said, the stove is 48 and 7/8, or 47 and 7/8, and we have 48. It's actually 48 and a 1/16, so should have plenty of room. Countertops will end at that little white piece I just showed you, and then we can slide our stove in. And then there'll be a small gap, which they make those trim pieces. I don't really like caulking. I've seen people do that. I think it looks terrible. They have those little gap protectors if needed, but we'll wait, see what it looks like. So I'm gonna set my laser up. This one's easy because there's 2 cabinets over there, and then this one's freestanding. So we just gotta make sure we have our gap. That one's gonna be a little bit different. I guess it's not easy. Well, it's fairly easy, but that one needs a piece to space it off the wall, which I have to go get from Tina. And then we'll look at our measurements. We'll get this one set. There's like an upright piece that goes on there as well, which I should be able to get set on these cabinets. We can push the fridges in place after we do that if we wanted to. And then I don't think I'm going to be able to get to the island today. That one's a little bit more in depth, but we'll probably end up going and building those other cabinets out there. I'll see if Tina wants to do that, and we can get the uppers knocked out. All right, so you can see what I got to work with. The little one wanted to put all the boxes in this cabinet, and I forgot they were there. So anyway, they're there, they're staying there. So this cabinet is supposed to be spaced off of this wall 1.5 inches. They sell a piece that it's like the same color and everything. It's a trim piece. When we took off the stacker cabinets, we must have taken off that trim piece too. So as luck would have it, I have 1.5 inch trim piece molding, like door molding or whatever, that's gonna work perfectly. It just needs to be painted. So the touch-up paint and the paint they use on these cabinets is just Sherwin-Williams. So we're gonna install it, and then when the time comes, and we actually have time, we'll just go get like a quart of paint and we'll paint it, because we're gonna need a piece for the upper as well. But in the meantime, we can get this installed. So I'm just gonna drill these in. I'm gonna put 4 of them on this one. All right, that worked out. So we are now ready to install this one. And I got my laser, so basically this is just gonna go up against the wall. I don't know how I'm gonna fasten that to the wall, but Guess I might not need to. And that's perfect. Don't screw those in all the way because it'll warp the back a little bit. It'll just pull it out. It's just to hold it in place. Once I get them all connected, I'll go back and tighten those ones up. Okay, so that's that. Now there's gonna be a big old gap for the fridge, but we got a tall piece here. So I'm gonna look at the plans, consult with the boss, see what she thinks, and then we can do that one over there. All right, well, we didn't finish yesterday because after those two, I started looking at the plans and realized that we need to add a tall piece, which is that one over there, but we needed to glue it. So I'll show you here, hold on. Okay, so these long pieces here, this is what our fridge is gonna get, our fridges are gonna get tucked in, but we wanted to glue this piece on prior to setting it, so that it would be easier. We probably could have done it afterwards. Maybe we should have, we could have made more progress yesterday, but hindsight's 20/20 and we'll see, but I think it's gonna work pretty well this way. So we glued those, we let it sit. And the other thing is this goes all the way up to the top of the uppers. So we wanna install the uppers over there so that everything is nice and plumb and level. So Tina built those two uppers over there. We have one upper over the fridge. So we need to go out there, we need to build the other upper over the fridge, get that so we can install that. It's gonna be 4 uppers. This last upper we don't really care about. So we're gonna go out there and probably build that other upper. Let me put this down.
Are you gonna build a cabinet?
What?
Are you gonna build a cabinet?
Yeah. So we're gonna go out there, build that other upper that goes over the fridge. It's just got 2 doors on it. So that then we can knock this wall out. How long do you think it's gonna take us to build that upper? You're the cabinet pro.
By myself, it probably takes about a half hour. So I would say like 15 minutes maybe, because we're doing it together, right?
I think we can do it quicker than that. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's go do it. All right, we're done, kind of. We didn't put the doors on because it's gonna be heavy to lift it up. So I think it took us longer than 15 minutes. Maybe closer to 20. That's probably your fault.
My fault?
Actually, it's probably my fault because she's had a system and I said, well, what if we do it this way or this way? Because this way would pull this tighter and yeah, it's probably my fault. Anyway, we're ready to go in and we'll knock out the rest of these cabinets. All right, so this upper is going to be the same as the lower. We need to add this 1.5 inch piece to space it from the wall. Yeah, you're good.
Oh.
Thank you.
And that was 13 kids. And that was
And we took the doors off of this one so that it's slightly easier to lift up.
We gotta get on the ladder.
Okay, hop up. We're ready. All right, so we saved you guys the boringness of figuring this all out and getting this perfect. This is where the bottom of our upper needs to be. Yeah, we had planned for one thing, but it doesn't. We didn't tell our cabinet designer, so it didn't end up working out. Are you gonna sit here and tell us? Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna bring the cabinet over. We're gonna hold it. We'll screw it in, and it'll be perfect with the bottom of that laser line. In theory, hopefully. If all goes according to plan. Okay, that looks a little bit different than where we saw you. So we stuck this piece up, and it's hard to film because we're working on both sides, but we drew a line, we fastened it in. I just stuck some of these 1¼ screws that I had. Oops, sorry. I think you can see, it kind of looks like crap, but this upper is gonna cover it, so that's why I didn't pre-drill. That one's pre-drilled, this one's pre-drilled, it's gonna be exposed, and then they are down here. So the reason why we only have 2 at the bottom and then 1 right here is this to this, my 2 3/4 inch screws are gonna be too long. So I need to get some 2-inch screws to put in here, which that's why we stopped here, because that upper over the fridge will come down to here, and then we can do these afterwards. The other thing that we did is install these. Probably not necessary, maybe. I don't really know how these are done. I've never done them before. But the back of these ones that go over the fridge, they're 24 inches, but this piece is 30 inches, so 30 and a half. So there'd be nothing to fasten the back to. So we just made up these blocks and fastened them into the studs so that then the back of the cabinet can fasten to those, so that the cabinet's nice and stout. And then, probably hard to see, but we went a little bit high for when we do the stackers. We'll have to add one more board, but then we'll have something to fasten the stackers into as well. So we're ready to move on. There's one of the 2. The other one's out in the garage. We'll take the doors off and bring that in, and we can get it mounted. So it'll mount to here, it'll mount to the back, and then that'll be the fridge area. So we bought counter depth fridges, which it's another issue I have. A counter is, with a countertop, is usually 26.5. A counter depth fridge is like 30 inches. Most of them are about 30 inches. So they're not counter depth. And the other thing we thought about doing was knocking this wall back and framing it in so we could get regular sized fridges and they would only stick out to the counters. But with the bathroom there and the toilet, we didn't think about that till after we had done the concrete and the plumbing and stuff. So we couldn't do that, but it'll be okay because the island's gonna come probably to about where that starts. So it'll kind of, and then that'll kind of just be like, not so much a kitchen cabinet over there, it'll kind of just be like a whatever cabinet. So anyway, that's a long-winded response for this sticking out, but it should look good. So we'll toss that up. All right, so I think we're ready to go up here. Tina's gonna hold it, and she doesn't feel comfortable screwing it in, so I don't know how you want to get it. Got it?
Yep.
Sure?
Yep.
Dang! You're yoked, bro. How long can you hold it for?
Well, not forever.
Yeah. Forever. Forever.
My left hand.
It needs to come down a little bit on the left side.
Okay.
There you go. Right?
Too much?
Yeah. Nope. There.
It looks it looks so much higher up. At first I thought it was gonna be short.
I know, I can't remember our last house of how high it was. It's probably about right.
Yeah.
What did we keep up there? The ice cream maker for homemade ice cream. I like to keep that right on the counter and make homemade ice cream every day.
You make it or do I make it?
We make homemade ice cream. All right, number dos. Got it?
Okay.
Readjust. Good?
Yep.
Oops. Okay, so that cabinet, we took the door off. We set this piece with the laser. It's nice and plumb. And then we just screwed that cabinet to here, to that tall piece, and then screwed it to the wall. So that's all good there. And then you can see here, I think, how this piece here kicks out. We should be able to screw that to this cabinet over here. That was the piece that was deformed. But it shouldn't matter. It's in the back of the fridge anyway. So we need to go build this last upper. Actually, there's more. What is there? 3 more to build? 2 for over here?
I did 1, 2, and this will be 3.
Yeah, so we got 3 more to build, but we need to build 1 more here. We can finish this wall, and if we don't finish over there, I'll be okay. We can do that when we do the island, but maybe we'll do it. But we're gonna go try to knock that out before the little one has to wake up. We'll try to get that one mounted today and get this wall done, put all the doors back on, but you can kind of see where our 2 fridges are gonna go. What's the, hold on one second. All right, so what I was gonna show is this is where our island will come out to, and then we'll have stools. So basically when you're sitting here, it'll kind of end with the kitchen. So the kitchen will kind of end along this line here, all the way down. So it should look pretty decent once we get the island set up and everything in. So what do you think? Good with it?
Yeah.
Okay, we have to be.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, I like it. I think it looks good. And I am glad we added those blocks on the back wall, because I would not trust those cabinets just free floating in there. That'd be sketchy. So anyway, we're gonna go build that cabinet, get her thrown up there, and we'll decide whether or not we're gonna do those other ones. All right, so we're not gonna get to those uppers, I don't think, because we still gotta assemble them. So we'll assemble them maybe this evening or tomorrow, but those are done.
We only have 2 to assemble, because I only did 1.
Oh, there's only one on this side? So 2 more to do. So I still have to fasten on the bottom, but I wanted to have everything done. And then I'll go through and fasten on the bottom. So also I need to get some, I think I said earlier, I need to get some other screws. So I'll use the smaller screws on the bottom because we're only going through the plywood. We don't need a 2 3/4 inch screw. So I'll have to run down and get those screws, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cabinets in. We have 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10 more to go. So it's looking pretty good. And this, we were talking earlier, this looks way better than it did when we first started. We thought that was gonna stick out way too far, but it definitely doesn't stick out that far. So we're happy with it. And all of our measurements worked out. We didn't mess up.
We did not
I was
mess
afraid we were gonna overhang on this side an inch or 2. It's like, oof, that's not good. But it works out. So anyway, that's where we'll leave this video, I guess. Next video, we'll get the island done. We'll get the rest of the uppers done. We'll be done with the kitchen and we'll be ready for countertops. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing and we'll see you on the next video.
Bye.